Black Widow #1, Marvel Comics presents #1. Where do they fall on my most anticipated comics? You'll find out. Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, and fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to bring you Spider Slayer's top 10 most anticipated comics of the week, and this is for January 16th, 2019. Now, if you guys are not familiar with this series, it's pretty self-explanatory. These are my top 10 comics that are coming out for the week. And before we jump into this countdown, this video is brought to you by the superhero of the day. And the superhero of the day goes to Hawkeye, straight from my Marvel calendar. Old school Hawkeye there. So congratulations, Hawkeye. You made it today. So, without further ado, guys, let's get started with this top 10 most anticipated countdown by kicking it off with the comic that was on the fence. Now, the book that I was on the fence about this week was Spawn Kills Everyone, issue 2. I remember reading this first one and I was kind of like, yeah, I don't know. But then when the second one is coming out and I see that cover and I'm like, yeah, well, maybe I might pick it up. I don't know. It's almost one of those books where obviously you can't take it seriously, but it's like, do I want to spend my money on this book, right? It's an extra $4, and it's like, do I really need this in collection? But it could be a lot of fun. So with Spawn Kills Everyone Part 2, I would assume that there's going to be a lot of blood, a lot of gore, of course, a lot of potty humor and stuff like that. So if you have the extra cash, you might want to go out and pick this one up. I was on the fence about it. I kind of still am, but, you know, I might just pick it up anyway just to see where it goes. All right, so that was my on the fence. Now let's truly kick off this countdown with my number 10 most anticipated comic. And number 10 goes to Red Hood Outlaw issue 30. Now, the reason why this one fell lower on the list this time around, fans, is because the last story arc, when it came to Jason Todd, was very weak, in my opinion. You know, he's trying to find himself. He's on his own. He doesn't have any more allies. He winds up in this neighborhood that was supposed to be, you know, you would think is I guess, spying on him and trying to figure out who he was. And then right away, all of a sudden, all these weird Solomon Grundy-like creatures, you know, went after him and stuff like that. And then he teams up with Batwoman, and it just kind of ended. And so this is part 6 of this story. And so I'm not sure where he's going at this point, but he's supposed to meet up with someone from his past. So I guess that makes for maybe an interesting story of who that person could actually be. But I just felt like the last story arc was very weak in an otherwise very strong comic of 2018. So I'm hoping the story picks up and we'll see what's next for Jason Todd. All right, moving on. We go on to number 9 this week. And number 9 is a new number 1 that is being released by Marvel Comics. And this is Black Widow issue 1. This is a $3.99 book. So this seems to be trending with Marvel for the past couple number 1s that have been being released with a normal page count. And I'm happy to see that. We don't need those extra pages or secondary story, or whatever the case may be. But Black Widow gets her own series. She's back from the dead from the Captain America series. What the heck was it called? When Captain America, Hail Hydra, or Captain America was Hydra. And I totally forgot that story. But she died, and now she's back. She's got her own series, and you know, the reason why this is not super high on my list is because every time we get a new Black Widow series, doesn't it seem like it's canceled? We have had a couple of them in the past couple years, and they didn't make it to, what, past issue 6 or 4, or whatever the case may be. we have Jen Soska is the writer, and Arm Montaro is the artist of the book. And from what I saw in the artwork, it looks okay. You know, I'll give Black Widow a try. I want to like Natasha, but she is always those characters where you got to think in the back of your head, can this series hold its own? Can Natasha actually have her own series, right? Is it necessary? I always felt that she is better in a teen book like the Avengers. So we'll see what this creative team can do differently to attract its readers, to increase the sales for Black Widow so it hangs around for a while. Or is it their intention to make it a trade and that's it? Alright, so next on the list, coming in at number 8, goes to another new #1 from Marvel Comics this week, and this is Marvel Comics Presents Issue 1. This is 36-page count. It's $4.99. Now, if you grew up to comics like I did back in the 80s and 90s, there was a series called Marvel Comics Presents, and it featured 3 short stories of different types of heroes, mainly featured Wolverine. That's how, like, Wolverine, I feel, got a lot of its popularity, and you got to see, like, it was like 3 separate stories, but one story did continue every single week or every month or whatnot, and so this kind of brings back some nostalgia, you know, for, I guess, 80 years of Marvel being around or whatnot, or however long it's been around, and I think this could be a fun series if it's done the right way. I don't know if people are going to be paying $4.99 every issue for this, or if it's just a one-shot, or whatever the case may be, but in the description it did say it was a series return. So you're going to be having Wolverine obviously in here because he's a staple of that series. Captain America will be in the 2nd story, and then you're going to have Namor, which is going to be in the 3rd story. So are you attracted enough to these characters to go out and buy this book? Lord knows we have a ton of Wolverine books out there. If you're a Cap fan, you might be a fan of this, but how many of you guys are really Namor fans and are going to go out and really purchase this book? This could be cool. We'll see where it goes. Alright, so moving on to number 7, and this is probably the lowest on my most anticipated list. And this goes to The Amazing Spider-Man issue 13. Book is $3.99. The whole thing is that this is the 3rd part now that has to deal with J. Jonah Jameson. And I think Nick Spencer's doing a hell of a job on Spider-Man. And he's writing a beautifully book with all Spidey's all his supporting cast characters, and this one has to do with J. Jonah, but I felt like maybe we should have ended it in the last issue. I don't know if I want to see a 3rd part with J. Jonah Jameson in here. What makes this story, though, intriguing is that somebody is after J. Jonah Jameson, and we just don't know who that is. So who is that mystery villain that's after him? If it's part of Spidey's past and J. Jonah's past, like, what's going to go on there? You can always rely on Nick Spencer to have a great Spider-Man. His wittiness is all there. Again, all the cast of characters are all there. So it makes for a fun read, but for me, this hasn't been the most intriguing story. I think because we've seen so much of J. Jonah Jameson in the Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man series. So maybe I'm a little J. Jonah'd out, right? Alright, so moving on to my number 6 most anticipated comic. And this goes to Middle West issue 3, $3.99 book. And now this is a little bit lower. I think last time it was number 1 on my list. But number 2 wasn't quite as strong, as we got to see our young hero by the name of Abel. He has something that is on his chest, and if this situation doesn't get taken care of, what could happen is that this can consume him and destroy him and make him into some kind of monster. So what happens is Abel and Fox wind up finding out this information about this woman that can help them. So they wind up leaving the house and starting their journey or their quest to go find this woman to help cure him. Now, Scotty Young loves to do these quest-type books with young characters and a sidekick. We've seen this before. So we're going to see what truly makes this book different from his other books. I think now we'll start to get the meat of the story. I guess we're going to come... they're going to come against some adversaries in this issue as well. So we'll see what happens. But I want to see if his dad makes a return or somehow go into more depth of Abel. That's why I really liked that first issue, to see where Abel actually came from. So we'll see what happens with it. All right. So moving on to my top 5. My number 5 most anticipated book this week, it goes to the Fantastic Four issue 6. It's priced at $3.99. And in this issue, we wind up getting to see Galactus makes his return in the pages of the Fantastic Four. That's always cool, seeing Galactus in any book, right? We've seen that in Zdarsky's run in the other Fantastic Four book that was out a little while ago. And it seems like a similar story, because we have Galactus, and the only one that can stop Galactus is Dr. Doom. And it seems like Reed Richards in this next issue is gone missing, or the Fantastic Four are missing, dealing with certain situations somewhere else. And again, Dr. Doom is the one to stop everything from happening, all the chaos and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to that. My only issue with Fantastic Four at this point in time, with Dan Slott writing it, is where is the true direction of this book? We got a little story arc with them returning. Then we wind up having a couple of these wedding issues, and now we get to see this Dr. Doom thing going on. Now, is this going to be a story arc, or is this just another one-shot type of story? So we'll see what's in store for the Fantastic Four. All right, so moving on to number 4. And my number 4 most anticipated book this week goes to Sideways, issue 12. Now, I forgot when they said that this series was ending. I'm not sure if it was 13 or if it was in February or whatever the case may be. So if you guys want to just leave me a little note in the comments box below of when Sideways is actually ending, again, just let me know. All right, so this book is probably the best valued comic book out there. It's a new comic that comes out every month. It's $2.99. I wish every comic was that price. But in this book, we wind up getting to see Derek, who was captured, okay? And we find out that the scientist that's been following him around and studying his powers is the one responsible for killing his mother. And he winds up finding out that secret. And it looks like he was about to go apeshit at the end of the last issue. And Ernie, or officer, winds up witnessing that the building blew up. And what's going to happen with Derek here now that he knows the secret and that this scientist killed his mom? Is he going to go off the deep end? Is he just going to lose it all together? I don't know what's going to happen, but this will make for a very interesting conclusion to the series when it does end. I've loved Sideways. I said it from the very first issue. I think this is a character that you, the readers, can actually relate to. This is a lot of fun, and I hate to see him go. Hopefully he'll get his own book once again, or he'll go on to some kind of team-up book, but I hope the DC Universe does not forget about Derek and Sideways. All right, so we're closing in now on the top 3. Guys, if you like this video, again, don't forget, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. It means a lot. All right, so my number 3 most anticipated book this week goes to Venom issue 10. This is also $3.99. And last issue was quite interesting, as Eddie Brock tried to reconcile with his dad, and his dad was just wanted nothing to do with him. He shoved him to the side. Eddie Brock finds out that he has this brother that he had no idea about. He thought he had a sister, but the sister never existed. So all kinds of crazy shit happened in the last issue. We wound up seeing that the so-called brother of Eddie Brock wanted the dad killed, or whatever it is also. So it looks like that Eddie Brock is going to have to revisit his dad and clear things up and find out what's going on with his family. And he's still dealing with the lobotomized symbiote. The symbiote's silent. It doesn't talk to him. He just feels so alone. And that's why he went to go reconcile with his dad to begin with, because he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anybody. So makes for a quite interesting story, and it really gives Eddie a lot more depth to his character. So hopefully we find out more about his family. All right. So coming in at number 2. My number 2 most anticipated comic this week goes to Detective Comics issue 996. Peter J. Tomasi's writing on this series has been nothing but stellar. It's awesome. This is a $3.99 book. This is the countdown to 1,000, which really doesn't make sense. I have a viewer on here by the name of Peter Barker who makes that comment all the time. He's like, how can it be a countdown to 1,000 when you're really counting up to 1,000? So it makes for an interesting discussion. But anyway, what's happened in the last couple of issues of Detective has been insane. There's been this creature that's infected Leslie Tompkins, and she became infected with the Joker toxin. Batman tried to cure her. He couldn't. She winds up dying. And I was like, holy crap, like that's insane. She died. Alfred almost died in the last issue. Now Batman's trying to figure out who is behind all this chaos that's going on. And it's made for a very intense book. And the artwork is gorgeous in here. I'm on my edge of the seat reading Detective Comics. Right now, this blows away the Batman series by night and day, written by Tom King. It tells you when you can get a strong creative team on a book, man, it makes it for a much better story. Robinson in the last story arc just didn't do it for me. Tomasi, this is hitting it out of the park right here, guys. So if you haven't read Detective recently, this is the time to actually read it. All right. So here we go, guys. My number 1 most anticipated comic of the week. And you guys might be a little bit surprised by this one because it hasn't been my favorite up until this point. But I've been waiting for this moment for a very long time when it comes to this comic book. And this might make the decision if I'm going to continue reading this or not. So this is a big anticipated book for me. And this goes to Superman issue 7, written by the great Brian Michael Bendis. This is a $3.99 book, and this is the story now, where it promises to give you the secrets of what happened to Lois and Superboy. Mainly Superboy, how he got so much older, okay? And what happened when they were with Clark's father and all that kinds of other stuff. That's what I'm interested in. I'm really not interested in all the other shit that's going on. You know, we finally get Superboy back, but we just saw him say, "Hey, Dad." And that was it. We kind of knew the whole issue based off of the cover if you were waiting for Superboy to come out last time, or Superman to come out last issue. Now we're going to get those secrets revealed. At least I hope so. I hope it's just not one page and be like, "Yeah, so this is what happened, Dad." And Lois like, "Oh yeah, this is what happened." You see this little flashback one panel, and then it's like it goes to the other main story, and then that's it. You know, last issue we had this whole fight with Rogol Zar, and then that's all it was. I need the secrets revealed. I want to find out where Superboy has been, what Lois has been up to. I want to find out all that shit, and hopefully it's in this issue. And if it's not, if Brian Michael Bendis continues to stall, this could be a strong consideration for a drop, because it's here or there when it comes to, you know, Superman right now. And I'm not happy with Action Comics either. So we'll see what happens. It's my most anticipated. You know, you'll find out on Friday where this falls in my top 10 comics of the week based off of this list. So tune in for that on Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So guys, again, I thank you so much for watching. If you watched it on Premiere and you left your comments while it was live, if you watched it afterwards, thank you so much, just as much. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this series, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a single video from me. And guys, until that next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.